Hello again, you sick, twisted weather freaks, and welcome to another and special edition of This Week in Weather. I'm your host and meteorologist, a DT from Weather Risk here in Central Virginia. Your captain of chaos, your colonel of confusion, your commander of catastrophe. Let's talk about weather, which is, of course, my favorite subject in the whole world. I mean, outside of dinosaurs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, those are pretty much the three favorite topics. And of course, in this chapter, this episode here, we're going to be talking about Humberto, then tropical disturbance 94L, soon to be a tropical depression if it's not already, and then it'll be upgraded to IMELDA, and then the potential for drought-smashing rains for from the Carolinas up into, well, maybe into as far north as Philly or New Jersey, and perhaps even New York City. But really, really heavy rains coming for southern Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and North Carolina, and lesser degree maybe South Carolina. And of course into the mountains as well. That's also going to be an issue in northern Georgia. So that's really going to help with the rainfall here. A lot of rain coming. First, just a brief reminder, this here is the Weather Risk Grains Twitter page for my agricultural concerns, agricultural clients. This here is the Blue Sky page, which is very nice to have and very useful. I put all my operational forecasts on here for the Mid-Atlantic. And this here, of course, you can get from the website, which up here you can see. You go to the website, you see on the shop page. That's where you can get our snow removal forecast for upcoming winter. We're going to have a whole new snow removal program coming up for you snow folks out there. And of course, you can get the Mid-Atlantic forecast, only $35 a month. You get the Mid-Atlantic, Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, North Carolina, broken up into 12 zones, temperatures and rainfall and precipitation and probabilities, and nice maps and a week 2 outlook, all for $35 a month. Great product if you have any outdoor plans, any outdoor activities at all. Very cheap, comes out several times a week. Okay, let's get on to the forecast and see what's going on. Now, this is the Hurricane Center update, the 5 p.m. update, and actually midday, I should say. The new one is also just came out at 5 p.m. I don't know why I didn't post that one, but anyway, it got an accurate depiction of what the issue is. This is 94L. Right here. Let's let me go back and grab this one right here and bring it over. There we go. There's 94L, which is going to be IMELDA. This is Humberto, and this is Gabriella. And Gabriella is going to turn, hit the Azores and go into Spain and Portugal as a big ocean storm. Interestingly enough, if you remember Gabriella several days ago when it was coming out of the tropics, it was barely even a tropical storm depression. There were a lot of meteorologists out there that were wondering why the Hurricane Center had even upgraded it to a tropical storm. And then, of course, as soon as it got out of the tropics, it exploded. And this has been the trend all hurricane season. The Atlantic basin here is suffering from a lot of very stable air because of the Hadley cells are so powerful and expanded on the north side of the globe. And that's causing everything to become suppressed. And as a result, again, when Humberto got out of the tropics, boom. 94L getting out of the tropics, boom. Gabriella getting out of the tropics, boom. It all pops. So that's what's going on here. And now that we're here almost into September, the Cape Verde hurricane season is over, and it was not a big Cape Verde hurricane season. We had a lot of nothing in August and September. And that's what we had last year as well. We had a couple storms in the Cape Verdes that were nothing. So this is a problem here going on with the warming climate. We get these big Hadley cells, the intertropical convergence zone gets pushed to the north. Africa ends up getting a lot of rain in the sub-Sahara, and the tropical waves coming off of Africa come off too far north, and they run into cold water and heavy dust here, and they don't develop. So that's been a problem now last few years, and it's one of the unanticipated side effects of a warming climate. I mean, everybody initially thought, oh, warming climate, warmer oceans, more hurricanes. Well, it doesn't always work out that way. Okay. This is the statement here from 2 o'clock up at night for 94L. I'm sure you've already read it. I just wanted to post it up to you. It is going to develop a very high probability. Here's the satellite picture. Now, again, this is Humberto here, as I'm sure you know, or you should know, and this is 94L. So you look at this, they're going to Fujiwara. Now, you may going to see this term a lot. This means two areas of low pressure circle around each other, and they spin around each other, so they rotate, and it makes it a very complicated, difficult forecast as to which one is going to be stronger than the other one. Usually what happens is one of these systems becomes the big system, and the other one becomes the secondary. It is unusual to have both systems the same size and same intensity caught in the same overall pattern. It does happen from time to time, Most of the time, like I mentioned, either Umberto is going to weaken and 94L, IMELDA is going to take over, or IMELDA will be the secondary and Umberto will be the primary. So that's what we have to watch out for. Now, the other complication here, and everyone's talking about that, and that's fine, but the big feature that a lot of people are missing, including other meteorologists there. I saw some other texts and comments from other people on Twitter, Jim Cantori, some other people. The key thing here is the upper low, which is going to form this weekend over Georgia. That's the key to 94L. And then indirectly, Umberto. So we'll get to that in just a second. Now, this is Umberto. You can see it very nicely here. Developing early this afternoon. It looks quite nice. Okay. And then this is the infrared satellite picture. It's cranking. And you can see it's already up by 22 degrees north latitude. And out there, still, this is 60, which is where, Antigua is. So it's still well east of that. And it's going northwest. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course, now this is a nice image because you get to see where 94L is. And most of the cloud mass is actually south of the big island of Hispaniola. But the low-level center is just to the north. So this is a very diffuse center. Now, if Hispaniola was not there, which has a lot of mountains in Dominican Republic and Haiti, this would be a much more organized, a much stronger system. So that's going to be a problem as well. There's 94L, and you can see this is Hispaniola here. And again, notice the cloud mass way to the south of the low-level center. This is another enlarged image of it. You can see, again, from Tropical Tidbits. There's Hispaniola right here. This is Cuba. Okay, you see the mass of clouds right over here. So it's a diffuse system, to say the least. Now, Umberto is going to intensify, as it definitely is going to. And then as it does so, again, many of the hurricane models show this system becoming a Category 2 or 3 hurricane. A significant hurricane over the next 72 hours. And then, of course, what happens is, once we get beyond 72 hours, we don't know what's going to happen in 84, 96. Is it going to get absorbed by IMELDA? Is it going to get pushed out to sea? Is it going to get absorbed by an ocean low? All these possibilities. So as a result, once you get past 84 hours, some of it stays strong, some of it drops off a little bit, some of it crashes. It's a very unusual situation. This is the track of the system. And you can see what happens here. All the hurricanes are coming, models are taking it. This is the 18Z run, taking Humberto, up towards Bermuda, and then it makes a violent turn to the sharp right. Now, this is when the cold front comes through. We got this big cold front coming through the east coast, so it makes this turn, and when the northern cold front breaks through and moves off the mid-Atlantic in New England, that turns Humberto out to sea sharply to the right. So if that's true, then we're not going to get a Fujiwara. That's not going to happen. So if you're going to be talking about that as a possibility here, I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying the hurricane models at 18Z, 12Z are turning this baby sharply to the right after 4 or 5 days, after 120 hours. And if that happens, there's no Fujiwara. Okay. Now, so the other concern, and this is what I talked about on the newsletter on Monday night and Tuesday. This was the GFS on September 22nd. So here's the upper low. The northern end of the trough busts through and slides off New England. The southern piece hangs back. You see this little black line here? This is the closed upper low right here. And this is 94L. And what happens is the circulation around it grabs 94L and pulls, or IMELDA, and pulls it into the Carolina coast as the upper low retreats down towards the Gulf Coast. That's the GFS scenario. A viable scenario, not the one I favor, but not bad. Here's the European. The European model always does better in these complicated, complex situations because of the model resolution, because of the grid, because of the physics, the parameters, and it does, and you can see what's going on here. So this is Umberto here. Again, this is from September 22nd on Monday, all right? So this is from Monday. This is the old data. I want to get you to understand the process here, what's going on. So that's Umberto, 93L. That's going to be IMELDA here. And there's the upper low in Georgia. So it begins to capture it, okay? And there's a ridge to the north of Umberto. So, and of course, this is the Omega Ridge here in the Midwest, over the Plain States. Upper low, letter Omega, upper low here. And then, of course, it pulls the moisture inland, and the rain gets pushed into the Carolinas and Georgia, and eventually into Virginia. So obviously it looks like these two features might interact, but if the upper low captures 94L, 93L is not going to get pulled in, and it's going to get kicked out to sea. Now this was the Panju, or what I call the Pandy model. This is the Chinese AI model from downtown China. And again, the AI model showing the same general idea. 94L by the Bahamas, 93L Humberto well to the east. There's the upper low over Georgia, and the upper low grabs 94L. And what it does is it kills off Humberto. 93L Humberto becomes much weaker. And of course the ridge, the block to the north, blocks the upper low from moving out to sea. The upper low IMELDA, when it comes into the Carolinas or Georgia, it gets blocked. It can't go out to sea. So it rains itself out of existence, and that's why you get the torrential rains. Now this was the early morning, Thursday, operational European. And the European had something interesting. It looked a little sandy-ish. You had a nice moderate-sized tropical storm, not really a hurricane. And as you can see, what it was doing here, this is now I think I have to, let me change the position of these maps for you. Got them sideways. So this is valid. Now this is beyond day 10. I just want to show you what the European was doing extended to day 10. From early this morning, the low approaches the coast, gets very close to the coast, high pressure to the north. This is October 6th, October 7th. Again, this is way, way down the road. This is wrong, okay? I'm not supporting this scenario. And then it just rolls up over Norfolk, Salisbury, and this Atlantic City, New Jersey, maybe Baltimore, Wilmington. Okay, big rainstorm, coastal storm for October. This is bullshit. This is not going to happen. I'll explain why. And the reason here is this is the upper air map, again, from early Thursday morning. You can see the upper low captures the whole system. And then somehow, without any explanation at all, even though the ridge moves east into the Great Lakes and Quebec, this closes off and becomes a much stronger low. There's no reason for this to happen. There's no reason. The thing just closes off and bombs out like 5 contours. It's bullshit. This is not going to happen. So I just want to point it out to you. All right, let's talk about today, this afternoon's data here on September 25. Here's the operational GFS. All right, we're going to start here. So this here is the operational, the upper low, right over Georgia. And there is, okay, that little circle right here, that is on the GFS. This is now for next Monday night, Tuesday. That is IMELDA right here. Now I'm going to move this out of the way and blow this up so you can see it a little better here. Okay? So you can see there's the upper low and grabs it and pulled it inland. Now Humberto is on this map here, is well off to the east. Okay? So they're not really Fujiwaring because the upper low's grabbed it. Now by the time we get to beyond this is now Wednesday, October 1. The upper low and IMELDA is now over northern Georgia, perhaps Atlanta, and Humberto is headed due east. Okay? That matches the hurricane models, taking it due east. So this solution seems reasonable and viable to me. I think that's correct. And here's the operational GFS. If you want to see the maps, this is the 18Z run on this Thursday evening. There's the system right here for Saturday night, early Sunday morning in the Bahamas. All right? Okay, and there's Humberto to the east. Now the GFS again has Humberto really strong relative to IMELDA. You see how they're almost equal strength? I don't think that's correct. Maybe IMELDA is going to be weaker, but they're not going to be both not going to be equal strength. But you can see the approaching the coast. There's a blocking high to the north. You're getting strong east winds feeding the moisture into the Atlantic into the system. And when it gets inland into the higher terrain, it's going to produce a lot of rain. And here we can see now, this is October 1. Okay, Humberto is off the coast. IMELDA is inland. You got moderate to heavy rain in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, maybe eastern mountains of Tennessee, western North Carolina getting flooding rains. Again, they don't need that there. And even as late as October 2nd, a gargantuan high, autumn high to the north, bringing the cool northeast winds and rain and chilly temperatures throughout the lower mid-Atlantic into Georgia. And Humberto, bye-bye, is out to sea. See? Boom, makes a sharp right turn. Right here, boom, out to sea. Again, that matches what we're seeing with the hurricane models at 18Z. So that's Humberto. And the GFS and IMELDA, that's what it's showing there. Now, why this happens, let's talk about what's going on here. Now, this is for Friday, early Friday morning, tomorrow morning, or tonight, as you could say. So there's the trough right here. Now what happens is this trough is going to fracture, separate. The northern piece is going to keep moving off the New England coast, powered by this big upper low in Hudson's Bay. The southern piece gets hanging back. You see that? And that's 94L. So now I'm going to bring this map forward, so you can see it some more. And we'll bring it forward. You go. And there it is. Okay. So you see how the southern trough is hanging back and the northern piece is gone off the coast? Boom. Okay. So there's Humberto just off the edge, and that's 94L, potentially IMELDA. And there's a big western ridge here in the southwest Atlantic. So this trough is going to close off. You can already see a little closed upper low right here. And it's going to grab 94L. That's what the GFS was doing and showing here. That's what it was doing. The European is showing it also. So that's the good news. We have a very strong model agreement here. Now, because of as I mentioned, why the European does a better job with this, I think that's the model of choice here. But the European solution has a lot of support. So that's really good. Here's the European model. This is the 12Z Thursday midday run for today. This is valid for Sunday night, Monday morning. There's the upper low, and it's grabbed 94L, and it's pulling it towards the Carolina coast. And there's Humberto to the southeast of it. Right? Now, again, it looks like Humberto is getting intensifying, and 94L is over North Carolina. If it comes inland, obviously it's not going to intensify, and Humberto will get a chance to gain some strength here. But now, again, it looks like these two are going to Fujiwara. At this point, they might. Humberto could swing up this way, and IMELDA could drop southward. It's not out of the question. But right now, the upper low is grabbed IMELDA. And if it does that, it's going to prevent a true Fujiwara spinning between the two big systems. Okay. Next, so now here's the European for day 6 for October 1. And here we have the Fuji, a little bit. Okay, see how they're almost equal now? Remember, earlier, they were the southeast of each other. See here, northwest to southeast. Now, on the European, the west to east. See that? Okay, that's October 1. And October 2nd, okay, Humberto gets caught up in this trough in the northwest Atlantic, gets pulled eastward. Again, that matches the hurricane models. And then IMELDA and the upper low is in Georgia and or the Carolina coast. And we have a huge Rex block here in northern and eastern Canada, massive Rex block. So all this moisture in the southeast gets trapped. All right. If these maps are right, there's no chance of this moisture getting anywhere north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. That's just not going to happen. Not if these maps are correct. Okay. If we look at it in more detail, the surface map. Okay, this is valid. Again, this is the 12Z Thursday operational European. This is valid Saturday morning. There's the system 94L IMELDA. Now it's a tropical storm by Sunday. And there it is intensifying, gaining some strength. I don't think it's a hurricane yet, but it's a strong tropical storm on Monday, September 29th. And to the southeast is Humberto. If we look at the surface map from the 12Z European, this is the new run. Okay, there's the low approaching the coast. You can see the rain to Virginia on Monday morning. Moderate to heavy rain, in fact, very heavy rain, the Carolina coast into Virginia. But notice nothing north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, very little rain. This is Tuesday, September 30th. Again, up to the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, nothing north of it. See that? Nothing. Okay. Now, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, getting maybe southern New Jersey, okay, all of it, and then most of North Carolina getting blasted with rain. Okay, and you're getting the strong east wind feeding the moisture in. The orographic lifting is going to be very impressive. In terms of total rainfall in the European for the next 10 days, wow. And that purple color is 16, 18, 20 inches of rain for Raleigh, Fayetteville, okay, 13 inches in Elizabeth City, okay, 12 inches in maybe Rocky Mount in Greenville, North Carolina, okay. Now look at Wilmington, is at 16.33. Then north of the Virginia border, Richmond 9 inches, okay, Danville 10.22. Franklin and Williamsburg, almost 13 inches. D.C., 2-3 inches. Southern Maryland, St. Mary's, 5.5. Salisbury, almost 6 inches. Charlottesville, almost 6 inches. Lynchburg, 6-7 inches. Roanoke, 5 inches. Okay, and then, of course, into western North Carolina as well. So very impressive the rainfall map here. This is a very viable solution. All right, here's the European AI ensemble. Okay, now this was the morning run, 0Z Sunday, 0Z today Thursday. See that? Notice the L's are different possible solutions. So there's Umberto, and then this is 94L. Notice very few of the L's are on the Carolina coast, but in the updated run, the ensemble is beginning to see more L's on the Carolina coast. Until this system becomes a closed tropical depression where the European model can see it as a significant system, all the focus on the European ensemble is going to be on Umberto. And that's wrong. Okay, so the ensemble here is a little off. And you can see here, finally, by the time we get to Wednesday, October 2nd, all the stuff, the highs are pushing down to the north, all the rain is being shoved out to sea or pushed way to the south, which probably is going to happen at some point. And then everything's out to sea. All right, here is the European AI, the 12Z Thursday AI model. Again, notice it's got one lead center here, another one here, almost equal strength. Almost equal strength. And then the main center, Umberto now gets caught and pulled to the east, and IMELDA is approaching and intensifying to some degree the North Carolina coast. Giant high to the north. You see that big strong high to the north? And then instead of making landfall, it kind of stalls off the Carolina coast for a couple of days with a high to the north. And you get a lot of coastal flooding and strong winds and beach erosion, but the heavy rains don't come inland on the European AI. A very possible solution. So even though the operational model shows this, the ensemble AI does not. So something to keep in mind. Now look at the trend from the hurricane models with IMELDA. All right. So the one in the upper left, this is 6Z on September 25. I blow it up, you can see it. Okay, turning it, and then some have it out to sea, some on the Carolina coast. The 12Z run, okay, you can see a sharp bend to the left. None of that to sea. And then the 18Z run, you can see, again, the same sort of thing. It's doing the same thing. So very impressive here, no doubt about it. And they're all picking up on the trend. The hurricane models, the GFS, the AI models are all picking up on the trend. There's no doubt about what's happening here in my mind. This is even the Navy model, of all things, okay, doing the same thing. And the Navy model says Umberto is going to be weaker than IMELDA in 94L, okay? And then it strikes the Carolina coast, and the high to the north blocks it, and it rains it like hell in the lower mid-Atlantic into the Carolinas. All right, let's take a look. Here's the new Chinese model, the AI model. This is, again, this is early on this Thursday morning, 0Z run. So there's your blocking ridge. There's the ridge in the southwest Atlantic. There's the upper low in Georgia and the Carolinas, and it's grabbing 94L. Umberto's to the southeast. Now it pulls both systems in, but Umberto does not get pulled in. It still sells to the south and east. And then finally what happens is now the AI model, again, has an equidistant system. Umberto's now to the east, all right? And the IMELDA was caught by the giant upper low over Georgia and South Carolina. And then finally, once Umberto is gone, this whole upper low gets pulled back towards Tennessee and Kentucky. And then you get more rain, potentially for the lower mid-Atlantic, the southeast, the Tennessee Valley, and potentially the eastern Corn Belt, the Ohio Valley, where they're having a severe drought. So this would be a very nice solution to have. So again, what we're seeing here is the AI models show both systems paralleling, spinning a little bit, but because 94L IMELDA is caught by the 500 low, it doesn't stay. The Fujiwara breaks down. The upper low captures it, and that's what it does. It goes out to sea. Umberto does. And then finally, this is just to show you, remember the crazy solution here the European model had with this, from early this Thursday morning, like bringing the storm up the coast all the way to Boston, okay, and heavy rains and making, calling it right up the eastern seaboard, okay. It was doing that because the model was doing this, which I thought was a nonsense solution. There's the upper low, captures the system, and then suddenly just intensifies for no reason on October 6th or 7th. That's bullshit. And to show you why, here's the afternoon run of the European, October 5, 6. And you can see it does nothing like that at all. Totally different map. Now, we do have the remaining trough here, the upper low, and then we have this big piece of energy coming down from the upper plains, and that does form a huge 500 low with much needed rain for the Midwest around October 7th. That'd be nice to see, but it doesn't have that big storm rolling up the East Coast. So that's why I knew it was bullshit when I saw it. So it's just nonsense. But again, it's a very complicated situation, and that was a long way out. I'm not really worried about what's going to happen after day 10 at this point. But some people talked about it and they said, wow, look at that solution. So I want to point it out to you. All right, that's the presentation. That's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This is meteorologist DT from Weather Risk. I will see you over on the Weather Risk Range Twitter page and over on the website. And of course, the Blue Sky page and the Facebook page.